Good evening, people. You are locked into Never a Foul with myself, Daps. I nearly called myself MCFC Daps. Daps, fresh back from Madrid, far from fresh back. Far from fresh back. Deflated back from Madrid, shall I say. But you are here. This is Through the Turnstiles, episode 2. And for those of you that don't know, on Through the Turnstiles, it's a place for people that I've met, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be at games, but that are regulars at games. And for people that think that I'm going against people that don't go to games, listen, I'm not. You're still a football fan. We still respect your opinion, but your opinion might be slightly different. You might have experiences that are slightly different. So I like to allow people, and to be fair, Double A does do YouTube, but people that maybe don't always do YouTube as much to get their voice across, because it is just as important. So this week, as I say, last week we had Mason, Hold Tight Mason, who obviously City fan. This week we have a fan from the other side of Manchester, the kind of quiet side of Manchester, not the noisy side of Manchester at the moment. The red side of Manchester. He's a season ticket holder. He also runs a podcast called TalkingKit, so people make sure you go and check that out. TalkingKit, sensational. I've been on there. One of my favorite shows. You talk about football kits and the memories they bring. So really good show. And I class him as a friend, even though he's a red. It is my good friend Double A.
The sleepy side of Manchester, I would say at the moment. Not quiet. Sleeping. That's what I would say.
This is what I like with you, because bantering with United fans that aren't from Manchester is a lot easier than bantering with United fans that are from Manchester, because I feel like you're used to going back and forth with City fans at work and whatever. So, and you've always been the one that can actually give it back to me. But I mean, we're not the noisy neighbours anymore, are we, though? You don't see us as the noisy neighbours.
You can't be. Like, that was 10 years ago. Fergie said that a little bit before. That's when you know, the money just come in or whatever. You can't say that no more. You know, you are up there. You in terms of where you are at the minute, you have overtaken us. Obviously, you're not the bigger club, but you are the better team. So,
and you know what? I don't think there's any City fans that would disagree with that, because, and this frustrates me a bit when people do want to have those, oh, you're not a big club. It's like, when did I say we're a big club? We are a bigger club than we used to be, and we're a growing club, but I don't really care whether we're bigger than someone else. It's kind of, and I think if you were smaller than us, but you were winning trophies, you wouldn't care. It's like,
Leicester didn't care when we won the league. They didn't give a...
I think the other thing is, a bigger club, sometimes you get a bit of a fan base. You get more chance of some of the fan base, your own fan base, annoying you.
Oh, yeah. 85% of the Manchester United fan base I can't stand. Like,
and that's why I wanted to get you on.
I mean, I look on Twitter and I see certain people talk about United, and I get embarrassed that they have a voice and they talk about my club, that they're vocal. They say how I feel, or they can speak on my experiences supporting Manchester United, being from Manchester, and, you know, not a glory hunter at all. You know, I've got one of the strongest man accents you're likely to hear. And I've lived through City being nothing, and literally nothing, to now having to show up to family events or show up to work and have City fans give it me like the Real Madrid. You know, oh, sorry for Real Madrid. I didn't mean to bring out that.
Okay, that's the type of show it is. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, but you know what, Steve, you know what, Aaron, we've taken it for so long. This is the thing.
Of course,
we took abuse for so long that we have to keep reminding you how shit you are. But I do get it, and sometimes in group chats, I can tell when some people are talking. You're getting United fans are talking. You get pissed off with them because you're thinking, "Shut up! Just shut the fuck up."
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but you feel online fans. No disrespect to anyone that's not from Manchester, doesn't go to games, whatever. But you do get a sense that online fans are sometimes more spoiled and expect United to be where they are more than fans that go to games or fans, that maybe are from Manchester, because I think there's a bit more humility in how United are at the moment. Like, you say you have every right to tell us how shit we are. Of course you do, because you've lived through the banner at Old Trafford. You've lived that.
Yeah, exactly.
You won promotion to the Championship when we won the treble the same year, and we're taking a piss. Build a bonfire. 20,000 empty seats. Plastic seats everywhere. No,
it
no.
should have been 10. It should have been 10. It should have been 10.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm just giving you examples of what we've given you.
Yeah. No, exactly.
So
and that is it.
Every small landmark, it should have been 10. We are shy at the moment. You are going for every single title. We're not going for any at all. So football goes in circles, doesn't it? And it's about time, or you say it's about time, but every team has its turn. Unfortunately for United fans, and this is something that kills me on a daily, I could take United being shy and not going for anything at all if it wasn't the fact it was you and Liverpool that were the two teams that are going for the titles. If it was one of you in Chelsea,
that's a killer. Yeah,
that's fine. But it's the two teams I've hated the most in my whole entire football life. So
yeah.
It's a horrible feeling, and knowing that we can do nothing about it is even worse. So United fans have to sit there, eat some humble pie, hope that now is the turning point for us. But it's not nice. It's not nice at the moment.
Obviously, so I asked you earlier to send over some of your talking points, because I wanted this to be a space for you to get some of your points across. People keep the comments coming in. Hold tight. Both Baileys, you confuse the hell out of me. There's two of you. One's Liverpool, one's City. I think there's actually a third as well. Hold tight, Billy as well. A more humble United fan before. Listen, but that is the thing, and that's why you can give it, but you're real with it, and I think that's the thing, because you do go to games, and I think you are seeing what's going on. It must frustrate you, because you're seeing City literally saw us come of age, I guess, really, didn't you? So, but let me think what we want to talk about. Right, let's talk about the first thing, because I think it's probably the most important thing, is Glazers out. Now, are you Glazers in or are you Glazers out?
I mean, I couldn't be more Glazers out if I tried. Went to the protest in 2005. Was never... Look, I mean, it's hard for anyone to argue in favour of the Glazers. Like, they've never put we could be here all night. They've never put a penny into the club themselves. They saddled the richest club in the world in debt. The debt is growing. Yeah. They're taking dividends out. They're taking dividends out during COVID, when teams are trying to put the staff on furlough. There's nothing good that they've done. People will come back and say, well, they spent this, they spent that. All they've done is allow United to spend their own money. And they spent it poorly. It's bankers, it's people that don't have a clue about football running one of the biggest institutions in world football. And, sadly, Fergie was able to hide that for 7, 8 years. Still achieved success. But now you see the repercussions of having non-football people in the club making bad decision after bad decision.
Do you know? Can you just tell me something? When did the Glazers take over?
It was 2005 was when it was through. So there was obviously the protest in 2005. There was obviously, and this is the thing as well, that which gets labelled on United fans. Obviously, we're only moaning because we're not winning trophies. How can you moan when you're buying Ronaldo? How can you moan when you're getting Varane? Let's go back to when we were winning trophies, and there was the green and gold campaign, and you saw we won the league, we're winning titles. The stadium was full of gold and green. David Beckham came back with Milan, picked up a gold and green scarf for the fans. So we've been doing it. It's nothing new. What it is that it looks worse now because United are where they are. 6th in the table. Protest still going on, or they've got a slap task. They think they're spoiled and this and that. But, we're buying players we don't need to buy. We square pegs in round holes sort of thing.
Can I just ask you something? So when the Glazers took over, was Gil, because I talk on Gil a lot, because I think, like, I've been having a few chats with City fans this week about how important Khaldoon is to City, and I think that doesn't get spoke about enough. I think Khaldoon, the whole running of the club, the fact that he does know the football side, but also he knows to have the right people in the right positions. You get that right, and you're halfway there. In fact, probably 2/3 of the way there. Was Gill still there when the Glazers still took over? Because I think Gill was also doesn't get spoke about enough how important he was to Man United.
Yeah, so he was still there because he left the same summer as Fergie, and that's the thing.
Thought so.
Was at the detriment of Woodward and Moyes coming in at the same season. What United should have done is staggered their leaving because they both left in 2013, where I think David Gill should have maybe stayed on a season longer, help Woodward transition into this role, as well as help Moyes. Obviously, that ill-fated summer where we only got Fellaini, so it tells you everything that was wrong with that summer.
That is crazy. When you think about it, a new manager comes in and they get one player. Looking back just quickly on Moyes, looking back, was he as bad as maybe it was made out at the time? Or was he a bit of a scapegoat? He was. You do think he was,
Yeah, I mean, what? So, funny story is, like, this is to tell you that I'm not a glory hunter. That was my first season as a season ticket holder, yeah? We got the season tickets after the Fergie season, his last season. So, my first season was David Moyes. I sat there during the 2 home games back-to-back, Liverpool and City 3-0. Stay through to the very end, watching United get battered by the 2 big rivals. But Moyes was terrible. He was never the right man. Doesn't have that winning mentality. He looks good at West Ham because they're overachieving, and it looks great. And he can get small teams playing and looking plucky, getting far into competitions. But when even in the Premier League, there's varying degrees of how much quality is in different. You see from Norwich to even a Leeds or a Wolves to then City and Liverpool. The jump is massive. So from him going to an Everton team, which he'll tell you himself, he probably overachieved with that team, to go to Manchester United, who were the champions at the time, to come into that and try and change that culture. And the whole backroom staff went. Obviously, and if you believe the stories, he's trying to tell Rio Ferdinand and Vidic to look at videotapes of Phil Jagielka. Say, oh yeah, this is what Phil would do. I mean,
Rio and Vidic,
the players who've won everything in the game. He's trying to tell them to watch stuff on Phil Jagielka. But these are all rumors, and stuff. It just didn't sit right straight away. I mean, his press photos, he didn't even have his mouse on the mouse mat. You could tell everything was going to go wrong from there. Do you know what I mean? So he just wasn't the man. I was never confident he would do anything, and I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. To be fair, because it was a dreadful spell for him.
So, if we were to talk on the Woodward and the Glazers, because I think the one thing with Woodward, I will say, I don't want to disrespect you with this. I don't want you to take it the wrong way. Look, ultimately, the guy is, and I always talk this in football. I've been saying it recently. You say it about Wenger. I've been saying it recently about Pep. Is when people get contract extensions is because they're doing the job that they've been set. So obviously, and I believe from a financial point of view, Woodward is running a very tidy ship for the Glazers, but it's not good for the club because I think a lot of your signings, I mean, I'd like to. I really wonder how many of Ollie's signings were Ollie's signings. 1, maybe.
Well, yeah. So we talk about Woodward. Obviously, he was he's left the club now. Thankfully,
has he fully gone now as well? By the way,
he's gone. Yeah, he's got. Apparently, he's in an advisory role. I don't know what that means, but so he is the Woodward's right hand man. He's the one that helped them leverage the club to buy the club. So he was their man. And you talk about all the commercial success, but is that famous story of when Klopp came for an interview for the United job, and he turned around to him and said, "Yeah, this is Disneyland for adults," and Klopp looked at him as in to say, "What are you talking about?"
Wow. So
that tells you the mind frame that he's in. He doesn't see it as a football club. It's a business. It's moneymaker. And you could say, that football is third on the list at Manchester United right now. It's the money, it's the social media interaction, and yeah, it's football's not really thought of. And you could see straight away there was videos he put out in his first summer, saying he's on his way back from I think it was Australia for important transfer business. That transfer business never happened. There was a summer we signed Schweinsteiger, and he did a video saying, "Oh, when you see Schweinsteiger on a team sheet, that's going to send shivers down every team's spine." Schweinsteiger was crocked. He was coming to the end of his career. No one was shivering. Yeah. No one was shivering. The only people that were shivering were the doctors because they thought we got more work cut out for us. You know what I mean? It's like the guy was just deluded, and I don't think he ever fully understood how to run it on the football side. It was all a commercial. It was all the social media interaction, buying big names because it made them look good. Like my theory is, if you look back over the sort of last few transfer windows, Manchester United, we do a lot of our business on the last day. That's to drum up the social media interactions because it's like, oh my God, United on the last day have got Falcao. United on the last day have got Cavani. It's like, just get it done early for the manager. Get him in. Start 100%. So he can start kick on.
Sorry, people, if you're watching this, thanks for watching. Please make sure you smash a like. Keep the comments coming in. We are going to get through them. On that, I think last season I did a bit of a study on City of the seasons where we've done our business early in the summer and the seasons when we've done our business late. And I can hear an echo, God knows. The seasons that we do our business late, we're never as successful. Never as successful. When you can get your players in, and I'll actually talk about Liverpool as an example. Just with Van Dijk. Van Dijk was with Liverpool for the whole summer last summer. He didn't go to any tournaments there. And I think things like that, having your players around you for a whole summer is massive. It really is. And I guess that brings us on to Ten Hag, who's coming in. Now, right, I do think it's the right signing. I was very vocal that I felt when he was being linked with you lot, that it was a case of he's interviewing you lot, probably similar to maybe what Klopp did, where he wants to hear what you've got to say. He probably then wants to, because I'll be honest, don't know if you agree or not, but for me, if Pep wasn't being rumoured to be staying longer, Ten Hag, I think timing was right for Ten Hag to go to Manchester United because the City job's not there, the Liverpool's job's not there. I don't believe he'd ever entertain Chelsea because of the way they operate. That's not, he wants a project. Now, Man United is a project, but I do think he would have wanted a lot of reassurances. And I've heard in his contract, there might be things that if he doesn't get what he wants, he can leave. What do you think, like, let's talk about the stadium, the training facilities and all of that. Do you think that's something that Ten Hag is going to want, and maybe even Ralph is going to want to address?
Yeah, so obviously, stadium's falling apart. Carrington used to be the best training facility in the country. And it's, you look, I drive through Beswick and you see City's one now, and it's like, that's where United should be. That's even like United should aim to be. That's what everyone else should be looking at Manchester United in terms of what they have. So if you believe the rumours, obviously the dripping stuff to the media, the PR machines rolling, that they are looking to sort the stadium as well as the trading facilities out, which they should do. So hopefully that is going to get sorted out very, very, very soon because that's needed. But I've heard Ten Hag was questioning John Murtaugh and Darren Fletcher. He put them on the spot.
Really? Fletcher as well, yeah?
I've heard this in his interview.
What's Fletcher's role exactly? What is his role?
I think he's multifaceted, supposed to be a technical director, puts the cones out on the sidelines, give barking out orders. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I think even Rangnick's come out and said he doesn't know. So
yeah, he has. Yeah. I've seen it.
This summer that needs defining, and he needs to stay away from. He'll be staying away from the training ground anyway. But Ten Hag is 100% the correct decision. I think when Ollie went, he was in my top three. It was him, Zidane, and Luis Enrique.
I'm glad you didn't put Poch in there.
No, 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, Poch is on the way down now for me. I don't think he'll reach any higher.
I also feel with Poch, I hate to say it, but with firstly, I was looking the other day. Poch hadn't won a trophy till he went to PSG. Do you know that? Hadn't won a trophy.
Yeah, I knew that.
Which is quite mad, to be fair, to be able to get a job like that. But the thing is, as well, with which I think would have been a worrying thing for United fans if Poch had have got it, is that by going to PSG and what's happened there is, again, I don't believe Poch signed any players this summer. I think PSG signed players. And if Poch came to United, it might be a worry that, you know what, the board just want it as it is, where they make the decisions. Whereas I think with Ten Hag straight away, it's like, that suggests there might be a change because, and we have to look at Arteta. Arteta has made the Arsenal board change because then I'm sure they still would love a commercial deal, but they are buying based on better reasons. And I think that is, well, I'll let you tell me what do you expect from Ten Hag?
So if you just go back to Poch, that Poch would have been a yes man. It's well known he wants the job. He wants to be the Manchester United manager. I think he was gutted he didn't get it in the last summer before he went to PSG because he kept hold of Ole. He would have come in and he would have been another Ole. He would have been a yes man. He would have stuck to that tried and tested. Harry Kane would have come in. Harry Maguire would still be lauded and be the captain. These players that are causing issues at the club would still be heralded, brand new contracts. So whether it's United are looking on social media and know that United fans don't want Poch and they've gone and got Ten Hag, is there a step in the right direction? Like you've just said, it's lucky for Manchester United that City and Liverpool don't want or don't need a manager, because Ten Hag would have been the manager that those two clubs would have gone for. I'd read stories that apparently Poch had recommended him to City as his replacement. That's true. You know, again, we are very, very lucky because he could be the next Pep or Klopp. Do you know what I'm saying? He could be that type of manager, given the right sort of tools. And that's what he needs. He needs given the right tools now to succeed. So he needs the right structure above him. John Murtough apparently is very good. That's yet to be seen. Ranić being around, that can only help in his advisory role. Paul Mitchell, I think that's what we need to go and get.
Let's come back to Ralph as well. Remind me to come back to Ralph. Yeah.
Paul Mitchell, if we get him, again, that's another tool. And getting the players he wants, like even going back to what you said earlier about managers at Man United not getting the players they want. I think it was Van Gaal was the first one to say it, is that Manchester United managers don't get even the second or third choice. It's normally fourth or fifth. So it's clearly someone above them is choosing these players. If you look at, you know, we've got Fred. Did we get Fred and Delo one summer?
Do you know what? I think it's been very clear with a few signings that when you're buying players that have been linked elsewhere, and then United go in and
more time. It's when they've been linked to you, Fred,
Sanchez,
Maguire, Ronaldo, Sanchez.
Well, Ronaldo. I feel Ronaldo's agent pulled a masterclass. He's Bernardo Silva's agent. He was over here talking City about Bernardo Silva. Happened to just literally, from what I heard, Pep said the numbers got presented, and City said City's board were like, okay, we'll go and have a chat with the people and come back to you. And by the next morning, United was signing him, and it was just he pulled a masterclass to get him back there. But with Ten Hag, firstly, let me ask you: if Donny van der Beek, is he going to come back and be an important player?
It's a tough one, you see, because if a lot of United fans just want him to have a chance. He's not had a chance in 2 years. It's hard to say he's not good enough when, you know, I don't think he's played 2 games back to back for United. He's definitely not played 5, which I think any player probably needs. If you look at
100%,
if you look at players without that, you can talk all day about Jack Grealish and is he a waste of money or whatever. But the good thing of what happened with him was Pep threw him in from the jump.
The beginning, he did.
We had the same thing with Jadon Sancho. He wasn't given a chance, and all of a sudden he's a flop. This, and this.
Same with Arsenal did it for many years as well, where they'd signed Lacazette. To be fair, got signed. They didn't really play him, and then when they did start playing him, they just signed Aubameyang, and it's like, well, his confidence is going to be on the floor right now. I think that's a good point with Donny as well. When he did play, he looked promising. He never really had a bad game, so it's like it's just very confusing. And I think with Ten Hag, I think with any manager, when you go to a new club, you do want some people that you can trust. And I'm kind of thinking, he played a lot under Ten Hag at Ajax, so he knows what he's about.
Yeah.
It's just whether he thinks he's maybe good enough for where he wants to take United, I guess. He might think he doesn't suit this league or...
And that's the thing. But I imagine he probably would have had a chat with him before he left Ajax to go to United, and whether it was a good move for him, I think. So, but Donny van de Beek needs a chance. And I think he's been unlucky in that Ollie clearly thought he was a substitute for Bruno. So being a number 10, which he doesn't have to be. He can play an 8, he can play a 6. And he wasn't trusted. He's not, the one time I saw him play the Champions League, he was at fault for a goal, but his midfield partner was Juan Mata. It's like you're not giving the kid a fair run. So there's been games. I think it was end of last season against Wolves away, which is a tricky game for United. Him and Matic were sensational. So we know if he's got it in him. What he needs is 5 or 6 games consistently to see if he can do it in the league. He probably made a mistake not going to Crystal Palace in January. But I understand why he didn't, because he's expecting his first child. So that's why he chose Everton. But, he wouldn't
have to move or nothing, would he? It's just stay put.
This is it. So it's good. It's also good for Ten Hag to have a player he knows at the club already. It probably helps him come in and feel a bit more at ease, gets his ideas across. Ten Hag, Donny will know to tell the players, the manager wants this, and this from you. And you'll get this back from him. So, it's good that he's got someone there. I expect to see him get a chance. Whether that's going to be as an 8, it depends who we bring in the summer and who goes. But I would like to see him given a fair crack at the whip. And if after 6 games he can't do it, then you have to look at it and say maybe he's not right for the Premier League. But it's hard to say yes or no at the moment, given that no one's given him.
I think the other thing that might give him... that might mean that he is someone that, Ten Hag pulls back and does throw in is, I don't know your view. And although I am of belief that it will take United a bit of time, changes don't happen like that. Especially this type of change, because this is no longer cementing over the cracks. I think this is going to be big change, long-term.
Has to be, yeah.
And I have said before that sometimes if a different manager comes in, gets rid of 1 or 2 bad eggs. And when I said that, people, let me be very clear. For anyone that thought I meant Paul Pogba, I did not mean Paul Pogba. Did not mean Paul Pogba. Because when you say bad eggs, Man United, some people instantly put him in that basket. For me, Paul Pogba is one of the few Man United players I would have at Man City. I've been saying this for the last year. Last January, I think it was maybe November, December, January, Pogba was on absolute fire because you were actually you were challenging. He got injured, you dropped off. By the time he came back, you were no longer in the title race, and he went back to Paul Pogba that maybe, well, I want to say he doesn't play as well, but he also doesn't get the chances. But it wasn't him I'm meaning. But what I'm saying is at a club, sometimes things can look really bad and it can look like you need a whole new starting 11. You get rid of 1 or 2 players and a different manager comes in, a manager like Klopp, a manager like Pep, a manager, as we believe, like Ten Hag, can all of a sudden see potential in players. I think we've even seen it with Ralph, with the young lads.
Alanga,
that he's seen potential in him. He's probably seen that the guy works hard and he's willing to put a shift in and whatever. Mm-hmm. City, you saw it with Delph, Zinchenko, that they're not even left backs, but you can find something in them. And it might not be as bad as you think. But in your view, how many players do United, and I'm not meaning this summer, but in total, how many players do you think United need to replace?
So you can't get rid of the whole squad. Personally, I would love to get rid of 90% of them. I don't think they're good enough. They're entitled. The manager before Ralph has obviously fed their egos, given them a free ride, and they feel they can do what they want. Leak stuff to the press, bitch, moan, complain that they're training in the dark, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? So I would like to see, you can see the effort in this season. They clearly don't want to fight for the club. Maybe that'll change when a new manager comes in who's not going to stand for it. That's yet to be seen. So it's hard to say, I would like to get rid of a lot of them. But there's potentially 10 players that would look to be going. A lot of them on free agency. a few more you would like to sell. I would say if we can bring 5 or 6 is probably what's needed to bring in. A few more coming back from loans. Ghana led 2 in particular. Maybe promote a couple of youngsters. Yeah. He's done really well for Forest. Like I think he's been involved. He's got 15 goal contributions playing from DM this season. So very exciting young player, a midfielder. You know, he's probably everything that McTominay thinks he is. So, you know, it's it'd be interesting to see him come back, maybe get some chances. There's potentially he'll go out on loan to a Premier League team. Personally, I'd like to see him involved in the squad next season. Promote a few young players, 5 or 6 signings if we can, get them nice and early. And maybe have a core of 22 to 23 first-team players rather than 30, whatever we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
And just have that small squad. You know, promote 5 or 6 youngsters. And if we are in Europa, that gives Ten Hag... A lot of people saying don't be in Europe next season, which I don't agree with. Because the more games you have, the more games Ten Hag has to implement his style.
Yeah,
you're playing once a week. You can't do that.
Another thing that I said this last season, I think it was a Carabao Cup last season where we beat you in January, and I said at the time, things like that are important because I'll always remember that before we won the league, we beat you in a semi-final and won the FA Cup.
Yeah,
and that was winning something as a group of players is massive because it gives you. We went on the next season, we won the league because you're used to it. You get that taste for it, and you want to win more. And I think I truly believe if United win something, and even if it's Europa League, it's a trophy as a group of players. I'm going to put this comment up because I think it's relevant to what I'm going to say next about will United fans give the time because they've got to rip it to the core. Now, I'll go back as far as when you got Mourinho. And when you got Mourinho as a manager, the thing I was saying is, do you know what? Yeah, I get it. He might come in and win them trophies. He did. He got you 1 or 2 trophies, didn't he? But the one thing I'll go back to my childhood now is Man United fans were lucky and very spoiled when I was young. That's not. I'm not being disrespectful, but you won trophies playing good football, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it is disrespectful. I say no disrespect, but it's not like Chelsea who have won trophies consistently playing very boring football. I don't know why that is with different managers, but with United, you did play good football, you did promote youngsters, and you did win a lot of trophies. So when Mourinho came in, I thought this is almost like saying, although Moyes had started to stink out the place, by bringing Mourinho in, it was a bit like you're waving goodbye to that good football now because he might. And I said at the time, I feel like United fans would still be happy to maybe not be winning trophies, but see where they're going and see a style of football, see that the football's enjoyable, that youth are being promoted, because I think your fan base, to be fair, they get that you know, class of 92, you're all about that. And I think now it is going to, I mean, you just said you want to see some youngsters promoted. And are you happy? Firstly, are you happy to say, do you know what? Yeah, that's fine. We might have a little cup run, but let's be honest, we're not going to challenge for 2 seasons. We're not going to challenge, but we're going to see clear direction where we're going. We're going to see what Ten Hag's doing. We're going to see some youngers playing. Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, so in no way am I comparing the two. I'm not going to try and say Ten Hag is the next Fergie, but you would say there's a lot of similarities in when Fergie came in to now when Ten Hag is coming in, because what Ten Hag needs to do, and you know that comment is bang on. He does need time, and I think a lot of United fans, again, I'm not digging out any online fans, but you will find a lot more of the match-going fans and Manx and those humble fans are going to give him a lot more time than the overreactionary Twitter fans, as you see a lot of, who jump in spaces, who I won't name any names, but you probably know the main culprits that react a lot and overreact to not so many needed things to do. But yeah, so Ten Hag needs to come in, and if it takes 3 or 4 years to get us going and back up there, fighting with you two for titles. I'm all for that. Like you say, it's United have been lost for 8 or 9 years now. Like, you couldn't tell me one manager we've had that's had a style of play. Mourinho didn't have a style of play. Van Gaal never had a style of play other than putting everyone to sleep, hoping he put the opposing team to sleep so we could score. Didn't happen. Moyes wasn't there long enough, and Ollie was just counter-attacking football that didn't really seem like it was counter-attacking football. It was, He was very, 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 very lucky manager.
I think it's not just style of play though as well. It's direction, and the direction of the whole club.
Oh, Ten Hag, you mean? Or
well, yeah, I feel like it style of play is very important, and it is connected to the direction of the club. But I think that is. I do believe that's what Ten Hag is going to be about. I think he is going to be everyone. You need to understand this is the way we're going, and I think there are probably going to be a lot of awkward conversations this summer potentially between Ten Hag. I think Ralph's going to have his back, and other people at the club who maybe might see a signing that looks nice. But I think the scouts as well is important, right? One of the first things when I think the day Ten Hag got announced, you'd got rid of 2 scouts, so.
Yeah, the chief scout, and I think under him. So I think that's why obviously Paul Mitchell's being mentioned. But the manager needs now to have the power to. He might come in the summer and think, I can't. Harry Maguire is not good enough, and United needs to be willing to write off that £80 million mistake.
Would you give him a chance without the armband first, just to see if he can?
I mean, where I stand with it is I'm not going to give anyone a chance. What I'm going to do is, if Ten Hag says that's what he wants, I'm going to back him until I'm proven wrong.
Yeah.
So anything the manager says, if he comes in and says, no, Harry Maguire is my captain, he's going to play alongside Varane, right? Okay, that's fine, because at the end of the day, the manager needs to have that plan. If he says Luke Shaw's going to be, Bruno's going to be this, Ronaldo's this, and this, the fans just have to get behind it, because what United fans don't do, and it's funny given the name of the team, is unite. That's the last thing United fans do. Yeah. There's too many fractions in the community. You're I'm this, I'm right, and it's boring, mate. It's absolutely boring. At the end of the day, I go to the games, I bitch, I moan, I come home, I come on streams, I've slagged off the team, I've slagged off
That's what
fans.
we do.
That's what we do. But at the end of the day, I pay my money and I go. I've not been for a few games because I have been bored of this season. I've had enough. I'm ready for next season, but I'm still here. I'm still supporting the team, and I'm looking forward to next season. And this season is probably the worst in Premier League history for United in 30 years. I think it will actually factually go down as the worst team. So these players need to hang their head in shame, because it's embarrassing that they've performed like this, and this is what they're remembered for. But we have to just forget it, move on. New dawn's coming, and hopefully Ten Hag is going to at least try and get us back to fighting for where we think we should be.
I think that's a fair point. Look, I always said when United started dropping off, I was always, look, we got to embrace this. We've got to love it, because the size of the club, the amount of money they can throw at it, it's gonna change. I'll be honest, it's got to a point now where on streams where I get asked to give predictions, I'm like, I need to forget that now, because not only overall, but even this season, I've been saying this season is going to click eventually, and it's like we're now in May. It hasn't clicked. Yeah. But you just mentioned someone, and I think that was one of the other, we've got 2 more points to talk on. One of them was Ronaldo. Now, we know maybe United didn't want him, and there was a lot of why he ended up there. And then there's the argument. Some will say he's troubled the dressing room. Others will say he's scored 24 goals this season. Without those 24 goals, where the hell would Man United be? What's your take on Ronaldo?
Ronaldo has been United's best player this season. And I'll tell you, you mentioned the goals. I mean, if we didn't have him, where would we be? Probably wouldn't have got out of the Champions League. So there's that. And then you say he's caused fractions in the dressing room. But what I think he's done, he's brought a winning mentality to a dressing room that don't have any winners, and they've all seen their ass about it. and they can't handle the fact that this guy's come in and he's demanding more and more and more. 37-year-old is happy to stay after training in the dark, and just fully commit and want to win every single time. And bear in mind, he's scoring 24 goals when United don't play a style of football that helps their strikers. We don't put crosses in the box.
Yeah.
We don't create chances for strikers. The number 9 role for Manchester United is a graveyard shift. We don't create chances. So for him to score that many goals is amazing. And that's why, for me, he's been the best player that we've had this season. Yes, he's thrown a few stinkers. He's 37 years old. We all know he's dwindling. And, you go back to signing him. Was it the right thing, the wrong thing? But at the end of the day, I mean, you can't pass up the chance of signing Ronaldo, 50 million. I said if he got 20 goals, that's a success for him, and a good season. So I think he's been our best player. I think he's shown, he's wormed out the weaknesses in the squad where we need to improve.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Look, I openly talk about some players at my club whose mentality, I class them as mentality monsters, and they're Portuguese. And I think there's only one man that a lot of them they've grown up with, an elder in their team that I think has drummed into them about mentality. Sorry, people, about this. I will mod you, Bailey, after the show, so next time. But until then, I'm just going to have to do my best to try and block these bots. But yeah, I 100% agree with you on Ronaldo. I do think it's that. I think he's put a few noses out of joint because he's frustrated at performances of players. It's strange on Maguire because, it's very easy for us to feel sorry for Maguire for a period of time. Certainly, he made Tottenham feel sorry for him. He made half the English public feel sorry for him. But then he came out with that thing the other week where he was talking about the managers that
before the Liverpool game. If I would be getting picked every week if I was playing bad. I mean, it's that lack of self-awareness that makes it hard for you to like him. I think just be humble. Just sit there, just sit there and say, listen, I know I can do better. I'm meant to be the leader of this club. We should be doing better as a team. But I have to look at myself and think, am I doing enough as a leader, as a player, to get us out of this mess? He doesn't say that. He says, no. I'm getting picked because I'm this, and it's like.
And for me, when he did that, it was like, okay, now I'm going to start to listen a bit more to this agenda that actually we all think that in the dressing room, Maguire's going to be a quiet little mouse that allows, while Ronaldo's being loud and when actually you think, do you know what? If he's coming out and talking that crap, then maybe we've got it a little bit wrong, and maybe your Pogbas, your Ronaldos, your actual mentality monsters that win a lot of trophies are almost being silenced by people that have no right to silence them whatsoever. Do you think he'll stay though? Do you think he'll stay, or do you think he'll?
I think he'll stay because I don't think there's anywhere else for him to go. I think the only place he can go is PSG. Is that going to happen? I can't see it.
Yeah, it's interesting. The only thing is, it's all very hard at the moment. I think with Haaland, from what I've been told, it's done. But with obviously, rest in peace, Raiola. With that, has that changed it? Mbappe, 1 minute he's going, next minute he's staying. I think that is relevant to Ronaldo, maybe only because they are the ones that can afford him. The other thing I do think is, again, rest in peace to Ronaldo's little girl. When something like that can happen, was it a boy? Oh, was it a boy? My bad. Rest in peace either way. But it's when things like that happen, that could also be something where it's like, do you know what, let's go and start afresh. And so I don't know, it's interesting. And then of course there's the Ten Hag thing. Does he want to build a team reliant on goals from Ronaldo?
Apparently Ten Hag said he does see Ronaldo in his plans. I've heard. I mean, one more season, won't we? And I think if we do go and get a striker in, they're talking about Nunez from Benfica, which would be a good striker to come in, young striker, learn under Ronaldo for a season. And apparently Ronaldo doesn't have a problem with that, which I can understand,
You've seen it with Elanga, to be fair. You've seen it with Elanga.
Yeah, Elanga for me.
I'm not saying keep Elanga, but I'm just saying you've seen it with Ronaldo, that he is willing to take people under his wing. And we even saw it, if you go back a few the was it the Euros or the World Cup where Ronaldo was on the touchline giving instructions,
Well,
and then again you go back to what I say about Diaz, Bernardo Silva, and all of that generation of Portuguese. I don't think it's a coincidence that they've come through and they have that mentality and they play alongside someone with the mentality. And let's be very clear, this isn't we think his mentality. The guy's an absolute beast when it comes to mentality. So, but that's an interesting one for me. Now, final thing, we've got to wrap up soon. Sorry, because I've got to stream in a little while. But people, you're watching the 12 of you in it. If you really do smash a like, and all you bots, if you know how to smash a like robots, smash a like as well. Now, this one was my favorite talking point. And listen, let me be clear, double A. Let me be clear, Soups, you little snake, right? Don't think every now and again when I was at the Bernabeu, I wasn't having a look at my phone and seeing you lot talking and celebrating, right? And then when Soups jumps in our City chat, because he's in it because I feed the goat, and is saying, "Oh, I really wanted you guys to win." I'm thinking, no, you fucking didn't. This whole, like you said, I know there's been, who was it that came out and said, was it a Bongler,
yeah.
And said that all UK fans should get behind UK teams. But Aaron, you're not a fan of that, no?
I mean, it's absolute nonsense. Like, why would I want the two biggest teams I hate most in the world that I've hated since being a kid? Why do I want you to win anything? Why do I, just because you're from this soil, should I want you to go and dominate the Champions League or dominate the Premier League or dominate anything? Dominate the milk round, dominate your paper round. I don't care. I don't want you to win anything. Like, no one wanted this agenda seems to have only started since it's been used to, that I've been going for league titles or been going for Champions League. Because when it was United, I've never heard anything about, oh, come on, you need to support English teams. No one wanted us to win. Everyone was buzzing when it was Bayern Munich almost winning and stopping us winning the treble. Yeah. So when Barcelona beat us twice, everyone couldn't be more happier. So for it now to switch and it'd be like, no, you need to support your British clubs. Absolutely not. I hope you never qualify for the Champions League. So
just to let you know, we have next season and you haven't, Aaron. But
yes, okay. I'm just saying. But what I mean is, I don't want you winning anything. So don't tell me that I should want you to win a cup or whatever, because it's a ridiculous argument to make for me.
I mean, after the game, we were walking for hours around Madrid trying to find our way to somewhere to get food. And do you know what? I will say, Aaron, for a team that have won the Champions League 13 times, god damn, did they milk that. Right? The celebrations at the end. And the worst thing is, when it got to a point where they're winning, you already know European games when you're away and you're an English fan, you're being held back for an hour, right?
Yeah.
And then you know that they're going to celebrate on the pitch for 25 minutes before the hour, right? And then that whole hour, all you can hear, however tall the Bernabeu is, you can still hear them all in the street out. And then when you get out on the street, they're still all there celebrating anyway. So they should have just let us out. They really, for a team that's won 13, they milked that semi-final. But we met an Atletico fan eventually once we got into the centre to get some food. And he was like, are you City? And we said, yeah. And he said, we wanted you to win. He said, even though you beat us the other week, we wanted you to win because they've just won the league. We're not going to hear the end of this. He said, but Atletico in the league, one thing. Real in the league, one thing. In the
Champions League.
In the Champions League, different. He said, you can't be 2-0 up. That's not enough. 3-0 up, not enough. 4-0. You have to keep scoring. You have to put every nail in that coffin. He said, but believe me, every Atletico fan wanted City to win. And you know what? That is how it is. I don't know what Talk Sports agenda was with that one to try and you don't support. I'm sorry. You know what? I'll be honest. There's a difference. If it's United or Liverpool, I'm not going to support them no matter what tournament they are in. With West Ham, with Leicester, with Rangers, do you know what? If they're in the Europa League, it's a little bit different. You can be like, do you know what? Yeah, I don't mind, but you're not bothered. but you're not. But when it's United or Liverpool, I don't want them winning anything. I honestly do not want them winning a damn thing.
Absolutely not. And like there's a comment there that says, Agbonlahor doesn't know the feeling of his rivals. Because that's it. And I don't think there's the hatred between Villa and Birmingham or Villa and Wolves than there is between United and Liverpool or United and City. No. It's not the same. There's not the same ferociousness there in the rivalry. So, and especially where United are as well, you can't ask United fans to want. If it had been used to in the final, I'd have watched Formula One instead. I'm not. You know what I mean? I don't care. It doesn't matter. I would have watched the game obviously because it's the Champions League final. But in terms of an outcome, do you know what? This might shock you, right? Do you know who I would want to win in that instance?
You're going to say Liverpool because the fact that I won it before.
Yeah, and I don't want you to win it at all. Yeah. So, but I would want you to win the league, you see. So it's like...
Yeah. Well, that's because they're breathing down your neck on that, whereas they're home and clear with the Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
But with... The funny thing is... I'm going to ask you a question. Last question. What do you think the next day at the airport, every single City fan was saying is a positive of us not getting to the final?
I think was a positive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go on. Tell me.
You don't have to share a City with Liverpool for the weekend.
Oh.
And it was that. I mean, the thing is, me and Steve were looking for hotels on the Tuesday, especially when it was half time and Villarreal was 2-0. I was going, boys, we could get some because you go on booking.com, hotels in Paris that are usually 200 quid a night, 1-2 grand, because the minute Liverpool got Villarreal, they just booked them all up because they were like, we're through. And we were looking at it and I was like, there is a plus to that because, to be frank with you, the amount of Scousers that are going to be in Paris that weekend, I want a hotel an hour away and I'll pay a taxi fee in, go to the game and get out because I don't want to be sitting around them. And someone said, but I don't want to gloat to them. I just don't want to talk to them, to be honest with
you. Mate, try having your father-in-law as a Liverpool fan. Can't get away from it. Do you know what I mean?
My brother-in-law. I'm up for my sister's birthday next weekend, and my brother-in-law is a Scouser. His dad was actually the lead person in the Hillsborough. Doing great job for that as well. Let me be very clear. Great job for that. And rest in peace to him. But yeah, it's not nice going and being around him because every season, and I'm not meaning since Klopp's taken over, every season for the last 10 years, he's like, this is our year. And I'm like, based on what, Alan? Based on what? So now that they are actually winning stuff, it's like, I don't want to see him, man, because he's just going to be unbearable. But listen, really appreciate you joining us. And Aaron is going to be involved a lot more in everything Never Fail has come in from now into the summer and into next season.
Forever and ever.
But also, where can people find you? Because I'm the biggest fan of your channel. I love it. I love coming on there. Actually, while we were in Madrid, we were talking about the shit City third kit. And I was saying how we did a show and I started going through all the kits with him and we were looking at them all. But so where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so I'm 1/3 of TalkingKit, and it's just free, guys. Football kit fanatics, as you can see. My signed Cantona shirt there for $92.93. And we just sit around and we talk about football. We have a few live streams to do some pre-recorded podcasts. We've got some smaller videos coming. So it's at TalkingKit on everything: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff. Find us there.
It's also in the description as well, people. If you can't find it in the description.
Trying to get them subs up. I think we're approaching 200. Been stuck on that for a little bit. So any help getting us over that and getting us bigger, that'd be a blessing. Make sure you go and check out the episode with Daps. It's one of my favorites we've done because it's speaking to a legacy fan. I can obviously we speak about it on the show. Like, obviously, I can understand you getting a bit because of your accent. People might not think you're a legacy fan, but Aaron, the story of why you support City and you getting it and you coming from them humble beginnings of those fluorescent Kappa shirts in the 90s.
Do you know what? I even got it when not this time. So this time was a lot better because I'm now I'm going to games a lot more regular again. I'm seeing a lot more faces, and they're seeing me on streams and with Steve. At the Atletico game, when we got to the square the night before, we walked across the square, all the City lot in the pub. We've gone in, and Chelsea were in the pub opposite. And obviously, I dress a bit southern, so I had Burberry shirt on and shorts, and they're being fine with me because I was with Steve. But they're like, "So what? Are you City?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what? Are you Chelsea?" And I'm like, "Why would I be in a City pub if I'm Chelsea?" And they're like, "Oh no, but your accent, what you're wearing." I'm like, "Fucking hell." Yeah, but now it's kind of like now I am known as the Southern Manx. So anyway, but really appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, man.
And hope you have a good weekend. People, if you're watching this now, smash a like before you leave. If you're watching it on playback, smash a like, share it, all of that. We will be here next week. We've got Mo, who I'm about to join in another stream to talk about Chelsea, another season ticket holder. Cass and I will be back on Sunday night reviewing the game week. And if you want to see a lot of violence, I'm about to go on the Gals channel and talk about City with a Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea fan. And if they mention Pep Guardiola, I am leaving the stream. This has been Through the Turnstiles. I'm Daps. It's Aaron. And we'll catch you next week, people. Double A. Sorry, brother. Let me just find the outro. There we go. Catch you soon, people.